the judgment themselves, although the judgments are not about the national conference, they are provincial specific, they are regional specific. For example, in the Northwest, it's about a region called Bujanala. Regions don't have a status here. We do not invite the regions, except to invite 2 per region as observers. So they don't have a credibility in terms of the process itself. In KwaZulu-Natal, I think it's a straightforward case. In Free State, there's precedence how we dealt with the issue. In 2012, similar judgment was delivered. What we did, because we are no longer talking about people who are on their way to the conference, they are already here. We color-coded, we gave them a separate tag as participating delegates, but not as voting, because you must not taint the credibility of the voting process. So part of the discussion this morning will include what then becomes the status of delegates who are already here. But I must say that we will comply with the judgments, we will comply with the courts. So it's not about to subvert and undermine the judgments. Where there is a possibility to use the remedies and recourse to appeal, we will do so, but we will never undermine, we will comply with the courts. There are people who may be looking in terms of numbers, that if this decision, the NEC complies with this, which is a correct thing to do, you are minusing certain positions and numbers from, we're not going to consider that. If you were to disrupt, just in terms of our readiness for any disruption, if we were to use this judgment, for example, to disrupt or to stall the conference, we'll take you out without touching the ground, out of the conference, and disqualify you as a candidate, because we're taking this decision in the interest of the ANC and that of the country. Conference is not a conference of PECs, it's a conference of branch delegates, 90% of which is already here. Even if you're to minus the 15 of Free State, 14, and the 38 of Bujanala, it won't affect the 90% which constitute a conference of the ANC. Even if there are delays, we want to make sure that when we start without any challenges, any obstacles. That's why even the NEC is meeting, so that we clarify ourselves, because the NEC must provide leadership when it gets to those 6,000 delegates. We don't allow the plenary to interpret and misinterpret in its own understanding of what it means, what it does not mean. That's why we must meet, even if we start 30 minutes or an hour later, but when we start, we must start full swing. The registration went up until early hours of this morning because of the provinces with huge delegation. Your Eastern Cape, your KZN, your Mpumalanga came almost at the same time. And that registration of those delegations took longer hours than expected. And our process is quite meticulous. There are people who some bogus messages that were doing around on social media about cheating the process, registering wrong delegates. You can't cheat that system. It doesn't allow replacements, for example. It kicks out the name immediately. So we wanted to be meticulous, even including the replacement. It does not allow replacement. You can only do a replacement if there is bereavement, you passed away. And there is confirmation, not in words, confirmation that so-and-so has passed away. So our process is quite tight. Obviously, there's a lot of propaganda going around, but you'll see when credentials are presented that it was quite a tight process. The top 6, the original formula we're proposing is to nominate and vote per position, but logistically that is a nightmare. It will mean that it will add a day or 2, so we're going to leave here on the 22nd. So now we've reverted back to the original and the old formula, top 6. Between 3 and 5, we'll take nomination and confirm nomination. Early evening, late hours of today, we'll start voting. Tomorrow we should announce a new leader and the leadership of the ANC in terms of the top 6. It's very rare. There are no instances where somebody who was standing for the president will make himself available for the deputy. It is unheard of. But in terms of the old formula, it does not promote slates again. That's why in terms of the negotiations between provinces, not factions, they are still even continuing this morning to see there's a desire among them that if it's possible, let's not vote. And I think it's a good indication of them in terms of making sure that they restore unity of the ANC in this conference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.